Being in the anime bubble for more than a decade, I've seen many shows. And I do mean many shows. Some good stuff, some bad stuff, some trends coming and going, some really creative and some really similar. With roughly 200 new animes per year, one would expect that being original starts to get tough for the industry. And while getting similar stuff now and then is not something bad per se, sometimes there is a problem in having exactly the same thing. And no, I'm not talking about isekai this time. There is a certain problem in the anime industry that has been worsening over the recent years. The use of big titles for self-promotion and the revival of finished series. The first example I believe all of us can think of are the Shonen Jump life drainer series like Naruto and Dragon Ball. Mangas that could easily have ended when, you know, they ended, but for reasons got new seasons/sequences so that their studios and publishers can still enjoy draining every single drop of useful life they have until even the bones are drier than an idol's fan's social life. For more examples, you can also just scroll down my YouTube channel because I seem to have a gift for making videos talking about remakes and continuations that end up being, let's say, controversial. The use of old titles is an easy way to attract an audience. If your new manga is not selling well, or if a studio is getting closer to the red, just use that old title's name. Loving fans moved by nostalgia will certainly go watch the amazing reanimations and sequences from their favorite series. While there surely are some remakes that are made as commemorative memes and do honor the memory from their original series, most of them are unnecessary and can many times just spoil the good memories of what was once a classic in a fan's mind, or turn what was once a good closed story into a mess of confusing prologues/epilogues that ends up making fans just ignore its existence and deny the slightest mention of canonicity the newer content has. And this brings us to Black Rock Shooter. Most anime fans have heard of this series at least once. Even if they never went all of their way to learn more about it, they probably know who this Hatsune Miku-like girl with a giant gun is. It is a classic in the otaku community and one of, if not the first, series to grow from a newborn specter of the community at the time, the Vocaloid zone, all the way to the common ones thanks to its popularity. This series began as a single character design by a new artist known as Gigguk, the same Gigguk that now is known for making Steins Gate character designs and as the papa of Takanashi Kiara. The drawing got the attention of the music producer Ryo from the Supercell group, and after some talking with Gigguk, the main protagonist of this multimedia franchise, the Black Rock Shooter song, was published. After that, the series had numerous other types of adaptations back in the day, games, mangas, and the second most popular media that served as the entryway to many to this franchise, the 2012 anime. While the anime's story and development are debatable, it managed to leave its mark thanks to amazing visuals and action scenes, which is not surprising if we think back on how the series originated from a type of artwork. After 2012, Black Rock Shooter content other than figures started to slowly vanish, making it clear that the series had reached its peak and now would likely remain as a classic of the anime community, like most animes of that time and before did. But now, back in 2022, after 10 years without a new animation and 7 without any new media, we have a new anime, Black Rock Shooter Dawn Fall, and a bunch of other media together with it. A new story with new designs and characters, completely renewing the series from its previous image. And I absolutely hate it. For a quick summary, Dawn Fall takes place in a dystopian future where machines rebelled against mankind and have driven us to the verge of extinction. The only ones capable of defeating these robots, which are coming from the moon by the way, are the Hemitails units, a group of android girls composed of incarnations of past series characters, including Black Rock Shooter. If you watched only the 2012 anime, maybe you are confused with this plot, but this is actually normal for Black Rock Shooter. Remember how it originated from a single character design? Thanks to that, Black Rock Shooter never had an original plot to follow. So every new media goes for a different story as long as it can fit a small girl with a giant cannon. Black Rock Shooter has already been a soldier fighting off aliens, a Green Reaper purifying souls in purgatory, an alternative universe silent emotion creature, and now she's an android. The only person that had more jobs than her is Johnny Sims. So the plot completely changing is not a problem nor a reason to complain theoretically. It is not exactly amazing, but it is interesting, and it can give birth to something good if done right. And the synopsis alone already made more sense than most of the 2012 anime. But this is basically the only good thing that can be said about this anime. So yeah, I also thought this was a good place to say this. I found out during the editing of this video how this anime came to be, and it seems the creators wanted to make something motorcycle related to Black Rock Shooter, and somehow we got to moon invading robots. Amazing, right? This may not be the official reason. I found this in the wiki page for Black Rock Shooter, so if anyone knows the actual reason behind it, please tell me in the comments. I would love to know. The first episode starts well, with war, explosions, misery, many questions, pretty art and animation, you know, interesting stuff. And that dies down after 5 minutes and continuously gets worse. The story is a convoluted mess of rushed material. Plot points and characters get thrown into scenes out of pure convenience. Antagonists just do 180s and turn into allies because the plot could not think of a better way to do so, and makes you question why they were even enemies in the first place. I love you, so I will kill you! But I don't want to die now. Understandable, I will be your friend then. I am Edgy Queen, I will kill Blackrock Shooter. But hey, you're cute. By the way, Blackrock Shooter is my friend. By the way, I'm gonna betray you. By the way, my sister needs help. So, good guy? Okay, good guy now. The main villains are a sex-addicted children's toy and a megalomaniac AI that keeps making bad jokes to show how she does not understand human emotions. Both for their motivations makes no sense if you follow simple logic. They are just doing the bad things because the anime needs them to do it. They have no personality other than being hateful for the sake of the viewer not liking them. Blackrock Shooter, or in this case Empress, also follows the same logic and is missing personality, which, yes, is normal in the other Blackrock Shooter media too, but in them, there is sense in having a speechless, emotionless character. Here, we have a girl with amnesia that repeats as constantly as she needs to go to a lighthouse as the Final Fantasy XVI protagonist says he needs to kill chaos. At the same time she does not remember anything, she also still has her sense of duty and keeps making detours to help others instead of following the plan to get to that forsaken lighthouse. Sure, those serve to build her character as a heroine, okay, fair, but maybe stop making her talk about needing to reach the place when she's the one choosing to delay it. She also constantly switches between being wise as a sage and dumb as a child, just so that the plot can throw in a bad joke or a motivational speech when needed. It's not just making her be playing stupid. Like for example, not using her trump card in the final battle that could destroy her objective from miles away because she would not be able to protect mankind after that, but making 70% of mankind die thanks to that, and then using it anyway. And the proper name Blackrock Shooter is also rarely used, with the exception of the last episode, where someone screams it at every minute, trying to make fans remember this was supposed to be part of the franchise. Instead, they keep calling her Empress because of tarot cards. Like all of the other girls, even though Strength was the only one that actually fitted this. The only likable characters are the humans, and just two. Monica is funny, and the captain is the only one that actually has a good backstory and motivation. If the entire anime was focused on him trying to find and reconcile with his daughter, the entire story would have been 100 times better. Oh yeah, and of course, motorcycles. The anime was about motorcycles, right? It was focused on that. We have one character that is a motorcycle. It is really annoying, and it somehow turns into a rocket in the final episode. But we have them. They exist. So we did it. Yeah, we got to the premise, guys. Let's go. Moving out of the characters and back to the plot, it also has a big problem in how it tries to make itself serious. This anime wants to be serious and tries to portray itself as an adult story, with a dark atmosphere and lore. Sure, that's not a problem by itself. Go ahead and make a Blackrock Shooter seinen. How do you plan to achieve that? Gore, edginess, and especially sex. This was my main joke about the series in the seasonal summary video, but I simply do not understand why everything somehow relates to sex in this thing. The engineer joins the team because she wants to fuck Blackrock Shooter. Deathmaster does the same. Someone is feeling bad, try sex! The two main villains are firstly shown in the middle of a fucking orgy that little baby man is organizing, which repeats 2 episodes later. And he also talks about his wish to fuck 4 more times or so. The brainwashed girl is shown getting horny watching the robot and then complains how lucky the other girl kidnapped was for almost getting violated. They are freaking child. God, just stop! I understand that these scenes were to shock the viewer and make them go, oh look, bad guy, so evil. But there are numerous ways of doing that and being less disgusting or ridiculous. The dude that is supposed to be one of the main threads is shown more times wanting to use his strap expansion than actually fighting as a bad guy. Come on! The plot has many ways of showing how adult it is. The first minute of the anime did exactly that, but it somehow keeps looping back to fornication. It feels like a bunch of 15-year-olds wrote the script and added their most random and disturbing fantasies. You can't convince me an actual adult was writing this and thought, you know what? Sex is truly the most adult thing we could add to the plot. At least the last 2 episodes have none of this nonsense, and instead are just 2 generic all-war episodes. But given, after the 2012 anime, I don't think anyone expected much of the story of this new one. Of course, no one else expected it to be the hot garbage it is. We are all here for the art and the fight scenes, right? Yeah, I will say that I do kind of like the new designs for the android girls. even if they are completely inferior to the originals. And many robots and main human characters also do have good appearances, even the world has some good places. But the designs for the villains are a bad joke. The generic grunts are some kind of V for Vendetta parody mixed with KKK hats and radiation suits. They look like some kind of kid toy. And talking about toys, this dude, this piece of shit, this Ken doll, the second main villain of the anime. I am incapable of understanding who decided on this design and thought it was good, especially after whoever it was also decided that his real form should be a Buffy baby doll. This thing is ridiculous. It is not scary, not menacing, not even funny. It is just weird. Oh, but they went exactly for the weird vibe. My brother in Christ, again, there are several more efficient ways to make a weird villain than a Ken doll with a vibrator attachment. If this dude was a normal guy with a mouth in his forehead that kept doing, it would be equally disturbing and even better because it would be a JoJo reference. Also, I am sure you could already tell by now, but the animation is just there? Most of the time, every scene is animated in a 2.5D style, like a game cutscene, which does fit the scene and makes it look decent, when they are not just completely bad CG. The action scenes are full of green screen effects, and some NPCs and even the main crew sometimes move like a Game Freak character. It is a complete downgrade from the 2012 animation. The sound effects are okay at least, except for this scene where a bunch of laser shots sounded like Zurg's gun from Toy Story 2. And the songs are not bad, but they just don't fit what one would expect to hear in Black Rock Shooter. It is also disappointing that the original song is only used once in the last scene in a pathetic attempt of bonding with the viewer one last time, trying to use nostalgia to hide the disappointment this anime was. Another strategy that these revivals of old franchises use frequently. Isn't that right, Higurashi? And honestly, everything that I said isn't the worst part. The real bad thing here is that this anime had zero reasons to be part of the Black Rock Shooter franchise. As I said before, there is no fixed plot in Black Rock Shooter, so anything goes as long as it can fit the characters. But at the same time, this means that everything that holds the Black Rock Shooter title could just be an original work on its own. This anime is the prime example of that. Take the Black Rock Shooter name out of it, what does it change? Nothing. The main character is not Black Rock Shooter, she's Empress. There would be no difference. The plot would be the same, just a weird sci-fi apocalypse plot. The most that would need to change is the design of the android girls. This kind of logic could be applied to any of the other series in the Black Rock Shooter franchise to a degree, but the difference would be that the others will need more significant changes to work because they were made to focus on the Black Rock Shooter character, even if not the same stories. They all had similar vibes, the atmosphere, the action, the art. These common features are what make a story be a Black Rock Shooter. But this anime had none of it. This half a second in the new Ruby anime did a better job honoring this whole franchise that this anime did in 12 episodes. As we said before, we know it was made by people that actually loved the original series, the original anime, and wanted to make something related to it. And honestly, this only makes this worse, because you don't feel passion in this project. It's really hard to believe that whoever made this actually liked what they were making. It still feels like just a money grabber, and that's what really makes me angry about the existence of this anime. If it was just a generic seasonal batch show, no one would care, but to stain the legacy that a classical franchise left with this abomination is truly infuriating and saddening. I can only hope that after this, Black Rock Shooter manages to get some kind of new adaptation to allow the poor fans that watched this abomination to forget it, instead of leaving this as the last animation we got for the franchise. But at the same time, part of me also wishes for Black Rock Shooter to just go back to its coffin and stay quiet there, as these android girls managed to close it with every possible nail they had. Hello everyone! It has been some time since I made a serious video for the channel, but as one could tell, I was too mad at this anime to stay quiet. I hope you liked it, remember to subscribe if you did, leave a like, and also check me on Twitch. I stream there sometimes, be it gaming or talking about anime stuff. I'm Wiki, and that's all I had to say for now. Bye!